Uniting our community on 105 FM. Calon FM.
It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.
Well, that never gets old. There you go, same difference. So, in 2008, girls and boys, beg your pardon, 2007, the pop combo Same Difference there came to prominence on ITV's The X Factor, consisting of the siblings Sarah and Sean Smith. Originating from Portsmouth, the music of Same Difference was aimed predominantly at the younger pop fans, but now, 11 years later, Sean is forging a tidy little solo career with this week the release of his fourth single. Now, this time it's with Peter Wilson with a brilliant cover of Verona, which actually was a song that was representative of Estonia in the 2017 Eurovision Song Contest. But Sean has just returned from a tour of North America with Queen's We Will Rock You, and I caught a word with him yesterday as he was on the road between shows as he tours the United Kingdom. So, what do you talk about when you meet up with one of the biggest pop stars in the country? Well, you talk about the weather, of course. Here he is, Mr. Sean Smith.
Andy, how are you, buddy?
How are you, Sean? How's things, mate?
Yeah, very well. Yourself?
I'm grand, thanks. Just enjoying this beautiful weather.
What's it like there? Is it lovely? Is it?
Well, it's off and honourable today, but the last few weeks have been mad, haven't they?
Oh no, it's been beautiful weather, but I'm on the M6 at the moment. It's absolutely pouring down. So
oh, is it?
It's not great. Yeah, I've got a gig actually in Weston, but it's an outdoor event tomorrow, and so I'm like hoping that it clears up for that. Otherwise, I don't know what they're going to do. Either we'll do it outside to no one, or they'll bring it inside.
Yeah.
But we shall see. But I'm up in Manchester tonight doing a show at the Opera House, so that should be cool.
Oh, fantastic! What's that for?
Oh, it's funny actually. I'm doing it more for a friend than anything, because I worked with her years ago in an ABBA show, so she knows I knows ABBA. But she owns a company now. It's like an ABBA show. Yeah. They call it ABBA Mania, and obviously with everything going off with Mamma Mia 2 now, it's really going well. It's really working. So I said that I'd go and do that for her tonight. But it's just a one-off because one of their guys that they've got is going to do something else. So, you know, you sort of feel like you're looking out for a friend, and it's kind of what we do in the industry, isn't it? You know,
absolutely.
Like you do for me.
Yeah.
Great to still be performing.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, actually, let's just say then, because last time we spoke, you were about to go to America. You were touring the north of America with We Will Rock You. Yeah,
it was absolutely incredible. I mean, one thing I will say is the show was something special, really, really special show. I mean, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's definitely worth seeing. Yeah. It was We Will Rock You, which obviously was written by Ben Elton, and all the music of Queen. And Queen are obviously going to be absolutely huge again soon, so they've got a new movie coming out. But it was such a great show to be a part of. I played a really cool part, and it was great to get myself into such a meaty role and really test myself. One thing I will say is, though, it's difficult being away from what I truly love, which is obviously writing and recording and going and doing my own stuff. It's something that I definitely missed while I was out there. Yeah. And I felt like always the pressure was on. I think with musical theatre, it's completely different to the kind of thing that I'm doing myself, because you've kind of got to, you know, your job is so easily replaceable. Yeah. That you've got to be incredible. You've got to be on it all the time. You've got to make sure your voice is fully warm, you know, and there's a lot of pressure on it in the musical theatre world. And I wonder whether it's really for me, if I'm being honest, Andy. But at the same time, it was an incredible experience, and you know, if something else did come up within the West End, or you know, a tour of the UK or something like that, which was a really cool musical theatre show, I would definitely still love to do it. But I definitely feel like I miss all the stuff that I was doing when I was with Same Difference, and you know, being signed and writing and recording our own stuff. And I definitely think that's where my future lies. But it was a unbelievable experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
But it must be great to have an extra string to your bow, even if you don't do it 100% of your life, you always know that you could do it. Musical theatre.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's not necessarily something to fall back on. In fact, it's really weird because people who are in musical theatre, they actually see what I did before in X Factor and selling records and everything as like smaller than musical theatre. It's really weird. There's like this. They kind of almost don't respect you for doing that. It's a really weird situation.
Yeah.
So it was almost like I was going into a world that I wasn't as sure of, and you're absolutely right. It's another string to my bow. I feel like you have to kind of, you have to kind of do anything. I'm working with a guy this Christmas in Panto in Horsham.
Yeah.
And he used to be in Fats and Small. They were, so unbelievably cool, huge records.
Yeah.
And, now he's coming to do a Panto with me, and he's such a great guy, and he's able to do that as well. So really, you need to be able to chop and change if you want to be sustainable, I think, in this industry. Unless, obviously, you're one of the huge acts that, you're just 100% true to yourself, everyone loves you for it, and you can just do that forevermore. When I was in the Same Difference, didn't really reach those sort of heights. We have a lot of incredible fans, and so thankful for everything we've done. But yeah, I do feel like I need to have those strings to my bow, in order to sort of sustain everything in this industry for myself,
Yeah. Do you find that your Same Difference fans have they've always grown up with you and they stick with you?
100%, there's no question there. I mean, I went to, funnily enough, I did a solo gig last night in Brighton with one of my good friends, Ben Davidson. He's signed to Energize record label, the same as me.
Uh-huh.
And we get on really, really well. But still to this day, it's my main fans that are coming out are the Same Difference fans of old. And they stick with me, they support me, and it just means everything. And yesterday was such an incredible gig down in Brighton. Very, very cool, showcasing all our new stuff. And people seem to really like it.
Well, I might have spoken to you about this last time I spoke to you. There was a girl on the X Factor called Lucy Jones. She's a Welsh girl. And, I actually saw her in Rent. I think it was last year. And they toured with the, I think it's the 20th anniversary or the 25th anniversary, one or the other.
That's right. I remember.
And she sort of turned her hand to that. And like yourself, so I was intrigued when I spoke to her actually how the two mix, But then she went away and did the Eurovision Song Contest and did rather well with that.
Incredible, yeah. She's had a fantastic career. In fact, when I look at people from the X Factor who didn't necessarily win, I think of her as one of the ones that has really come out and made something huge of herself. Because I know it wasn't only Rent; she did Les Miserables as well.
That's right.
Nick Jonas, and you kind of. I look at people like her and people like Shane Ward as well. He was the same. He did a bit of theatre, got a bit of respect for being great in musical theatre.
Yep.
Next minute, he was on the name on everyone's lips again, and he's ended up at Corrie. And obviously now his career's on the up. And I do look at these people that have come off shows like the X Factor, the same as me, and they have to be the benchmark for someone like me who didn't necessarily win. I've already been through the whole, releasing of albums and everything, and I've come out the other end of that as well. So you have always got to sort of look to what's going to be respectable, what's going to be great going forward. It's funny actually because the guy who played Galileo in We Will Rock You with me when I was doing We Will Rock You.
Uh-huh.
He was in Rent with her, actually. He played Roger in Rent. So his name's Ross. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And, it's quite funny because they were on the tour together last year in that. So funny how you get to know everyone in the industry. And I've never really worked with Lucy, apart from, obviously, we did a few gigs back in the day where we may be on the same gig, but maybe I didn't see her. But she's someone I'd love to work with. And she seems an amazing girl. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Such a great singer.
Well, I had a quick chat with her afterwards for the show, and she was lovely. Apart from the fact she was Welsh, so it was all a bit sort of we were sort of slapping each other on the back for being Welsh.
Absolutely. I was going to say, it doesn't surprise me that she can sing because she's Welsh. All of you guys can sing. I don't think I've ever heard a Welsh man or woman that can't sing in my time.
I think that I don't know what it is, but we've got something going on.
For sure.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about this new song. I mean, it's actually it's quite a nice link actually, because it's a collaboration with Peter Wilson. It's called Verona, and I've just read somewhere that it's a cover of Estonia's 2017 Eurovision Song Contest entry. So how did that come about?
It was a really weird one actually, because Peter is actually signed to my label now. He is one of the biggest sellers for my label and has been for many years. He's very big in the sort of the Italio disco kind of 80s era kind of stuff, and he's very retro, very cool. And he's as I said, he's such a big seller for Energize. So I've always been, I hadn't really known of him until I signed, but then all of a sudden I started getting into his stuff, and he's got such a great ear for melodies, and his album is absolutely fantastic. And we were just chatting online, because as you do when you're in a label, you all become friends. And we were just chatting online, and he said, "Oh, I'd love to do a record with you." And I said, "Well, I feel the same." And he said, "Well, I've got this new album coming out called Passion in the Flame. And how do you feel about covering this record? I absolutely love it." And at the time I was in Miami with We Will Rock You, and I just went and put a vocal down to the track, and the next minute it came back and it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And it was just going to be an album song for him, and I was just going to be like a featuring on his album. But it actually came out one of his favourites from the album. He decided he wanted to do it as a single. So it's funny how these things come about. Sometimes it just happens organically. And the next thing, he just phoned me up and said the guys at the label want to make it the next single. And it's great for me, because his album, The Passion of the Flame's already been top 10 in about 3 or 4 countries around the world, and for me to be featured on it is a real honour. But
it is a fantastic cover of far better for me than the original.
Thank you.
Well, far be it for me to sort of judge the two, but I really enjoy all of your work. So it's a terrific bit of work. Just talk about the Eurovision Song Contest. Have you ever been approached to do that? Would that be something you'd be interested in?
You know what the weird thing is? When it was funny when we were on the X Factor. Louis Walsh said, "Oh, you guys should go for Eurovision," and because we kind of went down the getting signed to Soncal's label, Psycho type route, it never really came up at the right time. Whereas you look at people like Lucy, and also Jedward went out and did it as well. And the kind of time went for us. But one time, because there was a lot of talk about us not doing very well in England, and we never have done. I wonder whether there is politics in it, but also whether we don't throw ourselves at it as much as the rest of Europe do,
Yeah.
But it was almost like we were doing, at the time, it felt better to go in for a show called Melody Festivalen, which is an absolutely huge show. It's sort of like Sweden's answer to the X Factor. And it basically finds the Swedish entry for Eurovision. And they said, wouldn't it be great, because you've got a lot of fans out in Sweden, you recorded all the album out in Sweden, wouldn't it be great to go in for this Melody Festivalen and try to go be Sweden's entry? Because, of course, it's the writing that matters for the Eurovision Song Contest rather than the performance. So it doesn't matter that we're English, as long as they're Swedish writers, you see.
Right.
So we thought, actually, that might be quite cool, because we know we've got no chance of ever winning as an English entry. So we actually went in for it, and I think we made, from what I remember, we made the cut for the top 50, and then it was the top 6 that ended up going through to this show to sort of perform on to find the winner. And we didn't make that cut, unfortunately, but it was something that we thought about at that time. And if it came in now, of course it'd be something huge for the likes of Sarah and I, but as you know already, she's not really wanting to perform the same difference anymore, which is a huge shame. But it would be something that I would definitely love to do. It was huge for people like Lucy and for Jedward as well. So it would be something that I'd definitely look to do if it ever came up.
But I think you'd be perfect for it. As you say, it used to be a bit of a joke, and now the things that are being played out there from us as well, it's such a high quality show now that I think.
Oh yeah.
I think you'd be brilliant at it. I think you should at least get your name in there.
It would be, again, something absolutely incredible for me. I feel like it's sort of like putting the cart before the horse. I feel like maybe my album would have to come out and have a certain amount of success before I'd be offered things like that. And I feel that that's partly why I look at doing things like musical theatre, because, again, it's building up that respect for then people to take you seriously, to then think about putting you in things like that. But making process. It's all growing. I mean, as I say, Lucy is one of those careers that I think, you know, you've got to take your hat off to her and think she's a fantastic run. And, you know, people only really look at, like, you either get huge success, like the likes of One Direction, Ollie Murs, or it's nothing for you. But actually, you can look at people like Lucy, for example, and I kind of feel like I put myself in there too, because I've just kept going at it.
Yeah.
And think, well, they've still sustained a career off the back of doing something like the X Factor and use that platform and made the most of it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think you just got to sort of keep yourself out there, and as you say, something always comes up. If you sat at home, nothing will happen.
So they say it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And I certainly believe that. I mean, well, even with you now, we're talking on the radio. We met in Wrexham. If I wasn't doing that panto, for example, you know, we wouldn't have even caught up. So, and now here we are, and I'm getting the opportunity to talk with you on the radio, which is incredible for me, you know. So,
but you know that, like, the people who come and see your show tonight, they will go away and they will text all their friends and say, "Guess who we've just seen." Are you aware of that? Do you know that sort of thing happens when you've been performing?
Definitely. Do you know what? It's the weirdest thing in this, because you can be out of work for a while in this game. Sometimes there's times when things just aren't happening, and there are certain gigs that maybe you will get offered and you think it's just not right for me. I can't be seen to do that kind of thing. But I always think if it feels right, you've got to do it, because the moment you go to it, it's like your social media starts growing. And for any time that anyone posts anything online, that goes out to all their hundreds of people, and someone might share it from them, and you don't know how far it reaches. And as long as you're out there doing all these positive things, everything's just affirming itself, and you know, it just keeps you going. It keeps things rolling, and you know, as long as you're always putting out a good product and you're being true to yourself, then I feel like it works. You know, getting out and doing all these things definitely makes a big difference.
Yeah. Definitely. And long may it continue. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, Sean. It's brilliant.
Oh, Andy, thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate all your support. I've always appreciated it. So thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely no problem. And good luck to you. Good luck tonight and good luck in everything. And before you go, I believe you become an uncle. That's exciting, isn't it?
Oh, that's right. You know, it's changed everything. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. I mean, I absolutely love him. His name's Bertie, and it's just... any chance that I get, and she says, "Oh, I want to go out tonight, will you look after him?" I always have him, because it's just the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's changed my thinking already. I'm like, oh, maybe I should start thinking about settling down.
Yeah.
and getting married and everything, you know, and then having babies, because it is the most beautiful thing. It's completely changed Sarah's life. She's just glowing. She's so happy. And, it does make me think, I've been chasing this for so long. There will come a time when maybe I will, although I'll still keep my hand in.
Yeah.
I will sort of like think to have children and stuff, because he just changes everything. He's just gorgeous, you know. It
is a game changer. Don't think your life will be ever the same again once you have children. It's
I already feel that about Bertie. Like, honestly, just already he's not even mine, and I feel like I run through a brick wall for him. You know, he's just the most beautiful kid.
I love the photograph of you on Facebook when you've come back from America, and you're just holding him, and then you're just breaking down, and it's. I just think, there's a bloke that'll be a good dad.
Oh, thanks, buddy. That's really kind. I've got a long way to go yet, you know. I've got to save up for a ring. Got to, thousands at a wedding now, and I've got all this to think about.
Oh yeah. Just take your time, man.
I know, exactly. It can't all be done overnight. I'd say that's the beauty of life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I'll let you go because I know you're busy. You take it easy on yourself. And
thanks so much, buddy. Always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers, mate. Take it easy.
Cheers, Andy. Bye, mate.
Ta-ra. Bye.
No sound of serenade, 'cause we listening to the Andy Snowden Stage and Screen Radio Show, broadcasting around the world and in Rosa Medre.
So there you go, that was Peter Wilson and Sean Smith with their version of Verona. It's now available to pre-order on CD, iTunes and Amazon Digital. It's a belter, isn't it?
The animals, trapped till the cages